So I want to share with you the tarot spread that actually when I first started as a tarot professional, it was the only spread I used. I like simple spreads because the tarot cards are complicated enough. I don't need complicated spreads. So, obviously I've diversified, I've grown in different ways as a tarot reader, but this is a really simple spread. You can ask about a particular area of your life. You can ask perhaps about a direction. If I take this promotion, if I move into this house, if I accept this marriage proposal, but it doesn't work for a choice or question answer. Kind of gives you a heads up of the direction of your life. And I've shuffled. I don't have a question or an area. I'm just asking the cards to reflect the flow of my life right now. And I love the simplicity of this spread. So it's really simple. It is 4 cards. I'm going to have to scooch them up so you can see them all. 4 cards that represent the past. And these are really fascinating cards for me. The reason that I use myself as a live example for tarot readings is because I think it is easier to teach tarot with a story and a real life example, and it's not really appropriate for me to just randomly share that information about anyone else. But when I'm recording these videos, if it gets too personal, I stop and start again. So, looking at this, the 8 of Pentacles, I think this is about my professional journey. Yeah, I have studied hard. I have read a lot of books. I have written a lot of content. The card I always used to get for my tarot business was the Ace of Cups. It's the people that I've met along the way that has been the most extraordinary thing for me. The Hanged Man is going to be my link to Odin and shamanics, and the Knight of Wands, that I feel energized when I do my tarot work. I really enjoy it. So the first 4 cards represent your past, and it's a pyramid. So now we do 3 cards. This represents right now, the current time. And I always feel that the present moment is the most important moment we ever have. I don't believe the future's fixed. So I think in any tarot spread that you're doing, whatever cards represent the present moment can also be used as advice. Now, what I don't like about this spread is, like, at the moment, I'm like, yeah, this is good. I am happy, but I still have the future to go. And that's the scary bit. And you know what? If you're reading for yourself or if you're reading for a client and you've done the past and you've done the present and it's really positive, you can stop there. Okay? You can translate the cards that represent the present into practical advice. Validate where you or your client are. You never have to move into prediction unless you want to. So the 10 of Cups, Queen of Pentacles, I'm loving being a mum. If you followed me, you'll probably realise my marriage at the end was pretty traumatic, and I'm really enjoying my family as is, me and my 4 young adult children. It really suits me. The Queen of Pentacles, I'm enjoying being a mum. But the Magician, I've been putting in, the reason I haven't been doing videos, partly I've had a bit of a personal situation that I've devoted time to, but also behind the scenes I'm creating a lot of content. I've been updating my website. I've been clearing out my business to allow myself to focus on the things that I want to focus on. So and I do feel energized and I do feel focused. So these 3 cards are the present moment but advice. Now, in a tarot reading, we can be certain of the past because we can validate it, or our clients can. And the reason that we have the past and the present in is we're building a foundation. We can be certain about this, really certain. The present moment is more fluid, but we're in it right now and we can validate it. But the future we cannot validate. It is more fluid, more ethereal. It's more of a whisper. So the next 2 cards represent the near future. So we have the Sun, okay, carrying on with the good theme. I'm happy with that. Feeling confident, shining bright, feeling safe. There we go. There's always a fly in the ointment. And the nine of Swords. That would suggest that there's something in the future coming up that's going to cause me anxiety and worry. Now, if I was reading for a client, the joy and the problem of tarot is nobody can look at that card and not understand what it means. Okay, the pictures speak for themselves. So I want to know what the last card is, which is the distant future. But I'm definitely going to give you a tool or a technique to deal with what happens when you've got a really good flow, and then one card crops up and makes you think, oh God, where's that coming from? So the last card, I'm happy with that. Judgment, to me, that's often sort of the end of one karmic cycle, the beginning of another, feeling whole, feeling complete. And so we've got this beautiful flow here of past, present, near future, outcome. I always look at the card at the bottom of the pack. Justice can mean legal things, of course. Looking at judgment there, it may well be to do with the end of one soul contract and the beginning of another, because justice, and I shared this in a comment recently, doesn't have to be legal matters. If we look at the Justice card, it could be male, it could be female. The idea, particularly when this deck was created in 1910 or published in 1910, of a female judge in the UK, unheard of, probably illegal. So the idea that this is sort of a gender fluid individual suggests that it's more than just the legal justice of the land. We also have the double pillars, which we have in the Hierophant and the High Priestess, again linking to kind of more of a spiritual law. And it's hard to see perhaps in a distance, but the brooch is a square, which would represent the material world, with a circle which would represent the spiritual world. So to me it feels like it's the end of one karmic cycle, the end of one soul contract, and the beginning of another. But it has made me a little bit anxious. That's the problem with tarot. If I was reading for a client, I think this card would make them feel really anxious. So what I'm doing, I've left the spread out, I'm reshuffling. And I'm asking, what do we need to know about that Nine of Swords? So, if ever you get this, if ever you've done a spread and you've just got one card there or a couple of cards that you just look at and you think, oh God, or, and this has happened to me with many times with clients, all three of these cards are really dark cards. My advice is to leave the spread out, reshuffle, and ask the cards, what do I need to know about that Nine of Swords? What is it that I need to know? And I'm just going to pull three cards. So the King of Wands, okay, that makes me think it may be to do with my ex-husband, because when I do readings for myself, he often comes up as the Knight of Cups or the King of Wands. The Two of Wands, it's about new beginnings, it's about leaving something that has felt safe. And the Three of Wands, it's about stepping into my power. I still look at the card at the bottom of the pack, the Page of Cups. I feel that this is probably to do with my divorce finalising. And when does a marriage end? It doesn't end in one big moment. It ends in quite a few. So it suggests that probably I'm going to have a bit of anxiety and worry about that. And that is how I would use this spread. And I've done this when I first started. The other thing that I used to do was read with two decks. So what you could do is you could use your first deck to do the pyramid spread. And then maybe you've got several questions about different cards. You can then take your second deck and, let's say, for example, the Magician. It's a really powerful card, a card of new beginnings. It's for the present moment. I want to make sure that I act upon that to the best that I can. So when I was working with a client, I would often do this in my Druidcraft deck. And then I could easily do 4 or 5 mini readings around it, going more in depth in specific cards. So that with a client, I could often have spent an hour on this one spread. And perhaps they'd ask me about a promotion at work. I could then, go into all the nuances with the second deck, really getting the detail. And just this one spread with all of the mini readings around it with the second deck could go into so much depth. So just asking, with that magician, I really love it there. It feels really spot on for where I am right now. How do I maximize that? How do I make sure that I keep up with that energy? So it's the Lovers. In a situation like this, the Lovers would probably mean balance, keeping it balanced between my left and my right brain. And it's also the Lovers is about choice, remembering that how I choose to follow through with my business is really important, setting the intention. Strength, it's about being kind to myself, being gentle. I know I make better decisions when I'm well rested. And the Three of Cups, it's about groups and circles and, teaching groups, which is definitely about where I'm hoping to develop the business is more workshops, basically, both online and in person. And the Eight of Swords, to let go of self-limiting beliefs. So, with this spread, you can then effectively branch out into lots of mini readings around it if you want to. And I would say for probably about the first 4 years, this was the main spread that I ever used with clients. And then over time, as we all do, I played around with different spreads and my technique changed slightly, but I still like the spread and I will still use it because I so often use the 9-card spread with clients. Sometimes if I'm reading for myself, I will mix it up and choose this spread because I'm less used to it now. So it sort of, it just adds a bit of chaos into my reading, if you like, when I'm reading for myself. So I hope that's been helpful, the pyramid spread. No idea where I got it from, randomly from some book somewhere. But I always preferred it to the Celtic Cross. What I don't like about the Celtic Cross, and I know I use spreads that are based on the Celtic Cross, I don't like how hard I have to try and remember what each placement means. Things that are hidden from you, your surroundings. I could just never get my head into it so that I got to the point that I was reading the cards without having to think about the spread. And as always, if the Celtic cross spread works for you, fantastic. But if you're looking for a simpler spread to try, then give this one a go.